Good morning and welcome to the Backpacktrader training room for Wednesday, April the 5th, 2023. Please note the required risk disclosure. This room is for educational and information purposes only. It is not to be considered individual financial advice. Trading of this kind carries substantial risks and should only be attempted with funds that you can afford to do without. All right, let's set that aside. YM trade has gone too far, so we'll wait for a new setup at market open at 9:30. Crude oil. This long trade was just a little too fast to try to catch. It's right up here at 5 seconds after our start time and goes straight on up. So I will call that one not tradable, and we're in the short. Entry is 80.64. Money management's 80.51. And target is 80.49. Unleaded actually had a little better result. Plenty of time to get into this long trade. 577, and that takes off going up. Picks up. Target 1 traders get 53, target 2 81 ticks, and trails out to 722 from 577. So 145 ticks on the trailer. So go along with 53 or 81 on target, and a one and done session. All right, so I'll bring up the micro NQ now. We're just about to hit market open. And there's market open. Micro NQ waits 4 minutes, but it's already in a trade anyway. Soybeans picking up a long trade. Plenty of time to get in that. It's just hovering there at the entry. I would push that up to 1425, possibly even 1450. Get around the 50 EMA, but it still triggered in. $4.5 points to target 1, so this is a big trade. Even after the 3-tick adjustment around the 200 EMA. Okay, the MNQ stops out of its pre-market trade. The Russell in a long trade. 70.6. Crude oil hits money management. Stop comes to 80.63. Looks like we hit target 1 on the Russell, and there is enough to get us to money management. target was 1.2, so we need 2 more ticks. So 72.0, and we get a break-even stop out. YM up to the session open. MNQ at session lows. The micro Russell bouncing off the session new session lows, just set at aftermarket open. Break even on the first trade on the micro Russell. And a short trade on the micro Russell, 67.9. Lots of time there. Hitting the stop, but we haven't hit the entry yet, so that will not cancel the trade. For a pending trade, the only thing that will cancel it before it triggers in is a crossover of the cat lines on Catapult. And the cat lines are fairly widely separated right there. All right, crude oil hitting target 1. Stop now down at 80.58. Looking for target 2 at 80.41. So that will be a POQ trade on crude. And the Russell trade did trigger in. This is a valid trade, even though the calculator won't track this one because it hit both the stop and the target, or the entry, on the same bar. But while we were watching that, it went to the stop first and then came back to the entry. So the trade is valid. Also, the pound Aussie picking up a trade just 852.40, short from 607. That has hit target 1 for 13 pips, and the stop is at 606 at the moment. Soybeans hitting target 1. That's a 4.5 pip win right there, even after our 3-tick adjustment. And trailing stop up to 17.25. And the Russell with money management, and I wasn't watching that carefully, that may have stopped out for another break even. I would say chances are that went up first and then came back down. So there is a target 3 win for the micro Russell. Please do say hello in the chat this morning. Everybody's being quiet. And YM stops out of its, and oh, that's not nice. Gives us That's one I would maybe hesitate a little bit on. Good morning, Bottler Solutions. But that is a full stop out on the short. 30 tick risk, 60 tick loss, and now we are in a long trade off the 20 SMA. And setting new session highs as the micro NQ sets new session lows. And stopping out after picking up target 3. That's going to be about 68.1. Or no, 67.8 looks like would be where our stop would have been. So we pick up a loss. Maybe, that may have been too fast to catch. A break even and a target 3 win. And crude going through targets 1 and 2. Picking up 15 and 23 ticks, 38 on the day. And stopping and reversing again on, stopping and reversing this time back to short on the YM. 622. And we may need to move that a little bit more with 20 S. Yeah, I'd move that around the 20 SMA, which is at 21. Yeah, take that to 19. And we did trigger in. Five tick adjustment, but I think that's definitely warranted there. Good morning, Pamela. And soybeans getting to target 2 for 30 ticks. So that is 48 ticks on the targets, and we stop out on the trailer at 18 and a half from our entry at 14 and a half. That's up one too high. So four more points. $52 ticks, 13 points. Nice morning. One and done on soybeans. YM with a nice pre-market move, and then it's gotten noisy and giving us, just chopping us up a bit. And a second loss to the short side on the Russell. That one I'm almost sure was going to be too fast to trade. I think I said the same thing on the first one. So let's call it break even, winner, and the long trade. Yeah, plenty of time to get in. We are at target 2, looking for target 3, 70.8. Stop at 68.2 at the moment. And another stop and reverse on the YM. 636. And yep, it just touched it. If you're trading it and didn't get in, I'd push it to 37. Target 3, that's a second win on the Micro Russell. No trade so far on the Micro NQ. Micro Russell coming well off of the session low now. Micro NQ just slightly off. And the YM sitting just above its session open. So crude, unleaded, soybeans, all one and done. And pound Aussie is going to be one and done as well. I did want to talk a minute about the pound Aussie. This long trade is certainly a valid trade. The short trade has gone too far. Looks like maybe it got close there, but I was watching that at the open and it never got down to it after our start time at 8:30. It was above. But we have this entry at 8:23 and it just spikes through to 23 and change and pulls back in 15 seconds. I would suspect that was not enough time to get an order in, figure out your spreads and get an order in. So I would push that up to the original short stop at 86.26, and it never hits that, and then you get into the short that ends up being profitable and successful. All right, YM in the long trade, and the Russell in a new short, definitely in it. Russell going back and forth. The shorts have been losing, but the longs have won. Well, actually, we've gotten a winner on the short, and that one is a full loss. So break even, 2 wins and a loss, and 2 trades that spiked and pulled back. So those were no trades, or I will treat them as such. And we have a new long setup on the Russell, 70.6. And the YM getting a target 1 out of that. $23 ticks on the adjusted entry. 638 for the stop. And we got target 1. Set a new session high. And the stop now plotted at 38. And we got as low as 39, so still in the trade. And then micro NQ continues to push lower. Looks like the Russell triggered in, just touching the 70.6, but with lots of time on that. So that is a valid trade, and we are in that trade. $6.39 for the YM stop. Money management on the Russell and target 3. That's win number 3. So one more winner and we will be POQ on power of quitting on the micro Russell this morning. Stock market is closed on Friday for the Easter holidays. I have not looked at the CME to see what its trading hours this week are. So you check that before you do consider trading on Friday. And 644 for the YM stop, reaching target 2. YM and the Russell both going up grudgingly, scratching and clawing, and the micro NQ still going down. Tech not faring so well, I would guess. As the NQ is somewhat tech heavy. Micro Russell trailing now, 71.2, and there is target 4. And the pound Aussie stopped out. With spread, that's going to actually lose a couple of ticks on those final 4 each on the final 4 positions. So that's pretty much going to be a break-even trade. Maybe 2 pips net after spreads. And the Russell stopping out at 72.9 for win number 3. $6.57 for the YM stop. YM coming back to its session high at 679. just set 2 or 3 minutes ago. And setting new session highs again. $6.58 for the stop. A fairly successful morning so far. Pound Aussie with a one and done session that was essentially break even because of spreads. Crude getting one and done. Unleaded was one and done. Soybeans was one and done. The first 3 of those on Spotlight, soybeans on Counterpunch. 3 winners this morning on Micro Russell using a custom Renko bar on Catapult. No trade so far on the Micro NQ. $6.74 on the YM, $6.79. Going through target 4. Turning into a nice trade. 23 ticks on target. We're at $6.79 from $6.37. So 42 ticks on the trailer. So plus 65. We've erased the initial loss. Now we've got the 2 stop and reverses we've still got to cover. Let's see what we have here. So 19. Let's see. 41 to 19 is 22. So that's 44. And 19 to 37 is 18 or 36. So down 80 ticks. So we're net down 75 at the moment. Given where our stop is. So we've got considerable, pretty good ways to go to get positive. We're going to need to get to 755 or 756 for the stop to get positive. I have not taken a look at the copper E-mini or copper mini. That's something you certainly can test. The question, my only question there is there enough volume? But I haven't looked at it enough to see what kind of volume there is on the contract. Find a chart that gives you sufficient enough trades of appropriate size, but not too many. Make sure it doesn't move too fast to trade. So, three-step sniff test. First order of business, then do your fast test. If it passes the sniff test, see if you can come up with a trade plan that gives you 75% to 80% session win rate. I said it's session win rate, not trade win rate. And then flesh it out with a good UTA test. But there's no use in taking the time to do the UTA test if it doesn't meet the criteria on the sniff test and the fast test. All right. If we get an up closing bar here on the micro NQ, we will get a long trade. Notice and there it is. Okay, that was too fast to catch. I would say go up to 50.75, and that's an avoided trade. And the YM trade stopped out at 89. So you're down 65. And the short came down too fast to trade. That's a no trade. Set up at 7 seconds after 10. First bar at 7 seconds after. Second bar that goes through money management at 10:13. 6 seconds to money management. You're not going to get in that trade. And then more stop and reverses. The long stopping and reverse. Well, actually, didn't stop and reverse. That entry, the stop and reverse entry, is at 67. So we are still long. We are long. And stopping and reversing to short now. All right, the micro NQ in a long trade for its first trade of the day. The Russell, that trade is just flat too fast. 4 seconds to money management. Not going to get into that. and it's a big trade also, so I started trailing early. It looks like it stopped out for break even, but that is a no trade. The MNQ, unfortunately, is not a no trade. We are in the long. And it looks like we're going to get a reversing short here, assuming a close down. We're going to close just about, looks like we're going to close at or just below the stop. And there's a stop out. Bar has not closed yet. And there's our setup. Lots of time. 34.50. And we've gotten as low as 75, but we did stop out, so that is a loss on trade number one. And there is the entry into the short. YM with a target one. 27 ticks. Actually, no, 25 ticks, because that was a stop and reverse. So we went 691 to 667. $24 ticks. So 48 tick loss. We were down 65. So that puts us down 103. And we got 25, so we're down 78. Stop at 661. And I believe we're going to be at our 6 trades. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, that was a no trade. 5. Okay, yeah, this is trade number 6. This is our last trade. And money management on the micro NQ stopped to 34.20, 134 and a quarter. $6.58 on the YM. And the Russell back to new session lows, as is the micro NQ. YM back to session open. Micro NQ approaching, getting very, then there is target. So that is win number one, at least. We'll see how strong that win is. $6.51. That's 16 ticks on the YM trailer. YM testing its 200 EMA. And closing below. 641 for the stop. So that is 26 ticks. $6.36. 31 ticks. And stopping out at 6.36. That ends the session for the YM. 31 ticks. We were down 78, so we're down. Ends up a losing session, 47 ticks. So about $235 on two single contract positions. Started off pretty bad, but those two solid winning trades took care of all of our stop and reverses and most of our full loss trades, opening full loss trade, or at least a third of our full loss trade for the opener. Alright, about 5 more minutes and then we'll shut it down for the crude inventory report. Crude oil at session lows, 80.10 for the session low. I prefer not to see crude quite this active leading into the inventory report. Often when it's this active leading in, it doesn't do much on the inventory report. So the only things left are micro Russell and micro NQ. All right, micro NQ is kind of slowed down. Russell still seems to look like it wants to push down. All right, folks. So it's time to close it down and get ready for the crude inventory report. Looks like things have kind of ground to a halt here. So I will see everybody in about 10 to 12 minutes. Talk to you again soon.